All right, everyone. The Independent Communist Republic of Seattle has decided to cuck to a former street pimp, actually, and pay him. And this sounds like hyperbolic nonsense. It sounds like a Babylon Bee story, but I swear to you it's true. Link in the description. To pay him $150,000 to be a street czar, self-proclaimed, of course. He's been appointed by his fellow upstanding citizens, this convicted former pimp, to provide alternative solutions to policing. I've got an alternative solution for you here to the people of Seattle and to the wider country at large. Eliminate all gun control. Nationwide stand your ground and castle doctrine. Restore self-defense to its proper role and let people sort it out themselves. I disavow all violence, but when somebody's being violent and victimizing others, people have got at some point to defend them fuck themselves. That's what I would say. We don't need some dude in a pimp suit to show up and get 150 grand from the taxpayers of this fucking city, which should be goddamn defunded, and I'm glad that Trump is making overtures towards this. I think New York City and Portland are also on that list as basically being run by anarchists at this moment. No, they shouldn't get federal funds. Any city that's going to pay money, basically pay blackmail money off to somebody, and I pardon the pun, of course, to somebody who's a convicted sexual predator, basically, I would class a pimp as being, to not riot and to give them potential solutions for alternatives to the police showing up. What are you fucking talking about? Yeah, of course the dude hates police, and the police arrested him once, I think, for pimping people out. Don't you think that's a significant crime, by the way? I mean, if someone's like, you know, street prostitute and they're hard up, they're on drugs or something, they're selling their body, I feel sorry for them more than anything. I don't think they should go to jail, but when somebody else is drugging people up and victimizing them, yeah, they should go to federal prison. Why don't the feds go in and pick this dude up? Why don't you charge him? You can find something to charge him with. Show me the man and I'll show you the crime is the old saying, and oh how true it is. Unfortunately, it can be misused, but in some of these cases, yeah, okay. Inside of every libertarian, there's an authoritarian raising their eyebrow at the present situation, I think, with regards to communist rioters. The city of Seattle needs more cops with more latitude, or as an alternative, if you really want one, pay me $10 and I'll give you a solution. They can send me the check, you know, here in Amsterdam anytime. I'll use it to buy weed for somebody else. Of course, I disavow drug use. Don't ban me, Susan Wojcicki. Anyway, I'll give you a solution. Let the citizens defend themselves. Half of these business owners, look, you had that case the other day where that former Marine killed himself because he was charged after defending himself when he was attacked in his own fucking business. He shot a rioter that was literally hammering him into the ground. It was sort of like a Zimmerman Trayvon Martin sort of deal. He defends himself on his own property and he gets charged with felony assault and attempted murder or murder 2 or something. And all these charges could put him away for life because of overzealous left-wing prosecutors. Enough is enough. Restore the Second Amendment to its proper role. In part is to defend one's own autonomy, community, and nation. We're under assault at the moment in multiple cities, not in the nation at large, but in certain urban areas, by a bunch of violent commie thugs. And we've got people defending them and making excuses for them. By the way, the Democratic Party definitely key in this. Joe Biden has refused over months and months of violence to disavow Antifa even once. He has never once disavowed the Marxists, self-proclaimed, that run BLM by name. He has never once disavowed a single specific act of left-wing violence. He is willing to disavow violence in general. Anyone can do that. Trump does it every other day. Has to, of course, because his supporters are considered violent. I liked last night in Louisville. The Boogaloo Boys, so-called, showed up, which is really just, you know, regular citizens' militia, because they knew there'd be riots. They decided to defend elements of the community they're familiar with. Like, okay, this block is ours. They're not going to be burning down Wendy's here because, you know, I need my chicken sandwich in the morning. I need my fucking, my shitty coffee or whatever. I don't even know why you'd go to Wendy's at this point. I loved it as a kid, but you got to let go of nostalgia someday. Go to Burger King instead. The Whopper actually is better. I am Team Whopper over Team Big Mac. I eat like one a year maybe, but just fucking sue me for the consumerism. I'm going to consume this Whopper with extra ketchup, by the way. They show up. They get called violent. People are on Twitter going nuts and say, oh my God, Trump's militia has shown up. And then what were they calling him? I can't remember what they were calling him. Something related to gravy. Like the gravy seals, they were calling him and stuff like that on the Lincoln Project page. It's like these people They have trigger discipline. They're not shooting anyone. They're not assaulting anyone. They're standing off to the side of traffic with their weapons pointed down, open carrying and defending themselves, as is their right in the state of Kentucky. They're defending businesses. They're defending the defenseless. People who have been disarmed and mistreated, they're defending their businesses, they're defending their fucking communities. They get called terrorists for this. Just like the people who showed up in Michigan to protest lockdown restrictions that were destroying small businesses all over Whitmer's state up there, they got called terrorists just for showing up and being there well armed. Meanwhile, people burning down entire cities are called protesters. Mostly peaceful. Fiery, but most peaceful. Mostly peaceful. Now, 85% of them aren't beating people in the streets and hurling grenades at people. Oh, that other 15%? No, that's just white supremacist plants that are there to cause trouble, I guess. These guys get called terrorists. Meanwhile, there are still people that are defending the BLM thugs that are running through the streets attacking the bank and the Wendy's and burning down the courthouse and shooting at cops at one point last night. Those people are perfectly fine. And then the state, or rather at this point nation state, I would argue, of Seattle, the Chaz zone that I guess is tentatively being rebuilt or something last I heard, these people want to pay a literal pimp 150,000 taxpayer dollars. What are you doing up there? People, if you have the ability, if you're in the Seattle region, anywhere in the metro, you have a home, you have a business, sell it. Sell it and let somebody else take off the dead weight. I know you'll be selling at a loss at this point, but move. Go to Texas or something, and don't take any blue state politics with you. Something needs to counterbalance. Go to Phoenix. Go where the going's good. Go where there are jobs being created. Hell, go to northern New England at that point. There are plenty of people marching in Vermont. So far, there haven't been any riots. There's a reason for that. We New Englanders do it a little bit differently. Why don't you settle in Maine? Why don't we do, instead of the Free State Project, what about the Three State Project? Try to turn Maine, Vermont, and New Hampshire all red. Or rather, get some libertarians elected who will restore the Second Amendment real quick. Why don't we get that shit going? Instead of cucking out to a bunch of fucking self-proclaimed communists and their thug rioting buddies, their looter buddies, the ones that show up as opportunists. They're even more greasy than the politically motivated ones, arguably. Because they're cowards. They're not going to loot on a normal night. If they know that the cops will respond in 2 seconds, they're not going to loot. They're going to wait till the cops are distracted by a bunch of communists. They say, well, communists are over there getting beaten on. This is a great example of capitalism because I can go and smash and grab and sell them on the black market. How wonderful for you. At least you're entrepreneurial. It's too bad that above board entrepreneurs in this country get taxed through the ass, number one, and are constantly at threat of being disarmed by idiots like Joe Biden. Joe Biden, who wants to lock down the economy, cause more riots. You lock down the U.S. economy, by the way. Let's elect Biden. See what happens. You have a 3-month full lockdown nationwide. What do you think's going to happen to the riots? They'll explode all over the country, and it will hit small-town America. And it will filter out into the suburbs. It won't just be an urban problem at that point, dude. It'll get much, much worse because we'll be in a goddamn depression for years and years to come. We'll survive, but it's going to be goddamn ugly. That's about all. Peace out.